Hi, everyone. Caleb here. God, where to start? It's been 1 week into a new presidency, and I've already made a bunch of cliff notes that have been bootlegged around. Needless to say, Biden is not off to a great start. From what I've seen and heard, there's some voters' remorse out there. I can tell you right now, I don't regret my vote. But anyway, just to kind of go over some cliff notes for the people that haven't been paying attention to what's going on, who have been awfully quiet. So far, within the first few days, Biden enacted about 30 executive orders, which is unheard of. It's a record-setting number done by any president. I could comment on about being a dictator, but yeah, 30 is quite a bit for the first few days. That's what Trump did. What 27 in his first 100 days, but it took him that 100 days to get to that number, not three. Anyway, let's see. Out the gate, Biden killed the Keystone XL pipeline, which axed about 11,000 plus jobs and counting. Arguably, this also hurts the environment too by killing this, because the electrical pump stations, they're going to be pumping electrically, but now, since it's killed, uh, it's all going to have to go by railway. With it going by railway, it's going to have increased carbon emissions and increased carbon footprint. For somebody who touted wanting to go green, this is kind of backwards on the ordeal. I don't understand it. Yes, there's people arguing about the indigenous people's land and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, where this is going, it's going backwards. And not only that, 11,000 plus oil jobs. That's a lot of mouths that aren't going to get fed. Just to kind of continue on with the list, he also killed federal funding for schools who refused to treat transgender students equally. This kind of pertains to sports and whatnot, too. A lot of feminists and a lot of women are actually pissed off at this, just for the simple fact that you could have a transgendered female, biologically male, coming into the sport and dominating it. Transgendered females they're going to have that bodily, biological advantage. And again, South Park did a episode with, I forget the exact name, but it essentially was a Macho Man Randy Savage spoof, pretending to be a woman and just absolutely crushing everything. Stalled the $2,000 stimulus bill for Americans after promising that help is on the way post-election. He enacted a $15 an hour federal minimum wage for federal employees. So with that being said, that all the people that thought they were going to be going from 10 or 12 bucks an hour all the way up to 15, just, with the stroke of a pen, essentially got bamboozled. So unless you're in the federal government, you're not going to see an increase in that. Which arguably, when they've looked at the statistics, they said it would create about 1 million new jobs doing that, but at the same time would kill 1.3 million. So it's a net negative. He placed a ban on fracking on federal land, I believe. Yeah, I say federal land just because from what I've heard that he said he wasn't going to place a ban on fracking, period, wasn't going to do it. But then he turns around and does it. Not only that, he revoked the epinephrine and insulin prices executive order that Trump had put in there. So way to go, Big Pharma. They're going to start lining their pockets some more. I know somebody personally that I work with who is diabetic and voted for Biden because he absolutely hated Trump. Well, this is one of those situations where it's like, maybe you should have voted for Trump in this case. He also revoked the Muslim travel ban and vetting for specific countries with the highest terrorist threat and activities. And the reasoning is that it would help increase our national security by getting rid of these measures, which is ridiculous. If you actually go back and read the executive order yourself, it's ridiculous. He lied about having a plan for COVID-19 and kept the same racist travel bans in place that Trump enacted. I remember when Trump travel banned China, Biden and all those guys came out and said, oh, it was xenophobic and racist, which was absolutely asinine. The next one on the list enacted a federal mask mandate for 100 days for federal employees, and he couldn't even follow through on his promise within the first 24 hours because he ended up visiting the Lincoln Memorial. He didn't have a mask on. He was also caught on camera admitting not knowing what he's signing when he's signing executive orders, which to me that's a big problem. With the stroke of a pen, you could be signing an executive order that's bombing a country, and if you don't know what the hell you're signing, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. He tweeted out at one point, this is back in September 4th of 2020, He goes, Mr. President, if you don't respect our troops, you can't lead them. Sent, what was it, 5,000 troops to go sleep in a parking garage just, underneath the Capitol, in the cold, having to share a bathroom and an alleged single electrical outlet. There might have been more than that, but again, I don't know. That's just some of the things that he's done. I've probably missed some, but there's another few points after he got inaugurated. The CDC changed the way it's going to diagnose COVID-19 with PCR tests, and now, admittedly, the PCR test being unreliable, especially when it's been preached by non-authoritative doctors and scientists in the medical industry. There was an actual German. There were some German scientists that actually had a lawsuit against Germany saying that the PCR tests are unreliable, and they wanted them revoked. Or they had it against the World Health Organization. Well, lo and behold, Biden gets in. Boom. Tune changed. Amazon also reached out to the Biden administration, putting out a public letter saying they're willing to work with them to help reach the vaccination goals and to help get the vaccine out to as many people as they can. My question is, if they're willing to do that the day that Biden gets inaugurated or the day after, why didn't they offer the Trump administration that if they get the power to do it? I find that very interesting. To me, it's just this last week has been a total shit show. There's been blackouts at the White House. People saying there's a lot of strange things going on. They're keeping troops in there until March. There's speculation that the DC, as its own corporate entity, is actually under military occupation right now. So, I mean, we're definitely living under strange times. All I know is that how quiet some of my liberal friends are that I debate with on Facebook, they've been eerily quiet. And a lot of the things that I listed are not good things. Everybody always says Democrats are the poor, Republicans are for the rich, and the rich get all the tax breaks. But it's like people don't realize that the rich pay majority of the taxes, if not all of them. One of my guys that I watched, Turd Flinging Monkey, he actually has a video kind of breaking it down from the 2018 tax numbers, showing how all the rich pay all the taxes. Essentially, the tax brackets from 75 to 85,000 on up, they essentially pay all the taxes. They don't use any of the tax benefit programs themselves. Whereas anybody underneath that bracket either A, breaks even with the welfare benefit programs that they pay into versus what they use. And everybody, I believe 30,000 and below, everybody who pays into that overwhelmingly large bracket, use up more in welfare benefits than they pay in. And believe it or not, Social Security income, or Social Security disability and income for elderly and retirees, that counts as welfare. So essentially they are taking out more than they're putting in later stages of life. That's another conversation about talking about Social Security, keeping it intact, and how it's going bankrupt. It's because people are living longer and taking more money out than they put in. So, but that's for another time. I know I didn't talk about any very good redeeming qualities or anything good that Joe Biden's done because honestly, I haven't really seen anything good come out of him yet. Granted, we're a week in, and so far it's been a dumpster fire. Granted, it's my opinion, but the way that the country's headed and what's going on, there's a lot of people out there with voters' remorse. So, but anyway, yeah, not everybody's going to agree with me, but I'm just throwing it out there for the people who haven't been paying attention. So, but anyway, I'm out. Peace.